Welcome friends. I just got my haircut, so it's a lot shorter than you're used to seeing. But I like to start the year off short, and then it gets to about here, and then I'm like done with it and I need to cut it again. Just got this headband in the mail from Shein in a multi-pack. Loving it. If the link's still available, I'll put it down below, as well as this sweatshirt. It's so cute. Anywho, today we are here because I'm printing Unit 21 of the Unique Learning System, and by printing I mean going through and finding what I need. Let me show you. So my last video I was talking about different ways to organize the Unique Learning System, and I realized as I was blabbering, I was talking about Unit 11, assuming that Unit 11 had been the first unit that I'd ever done, and then I got home and started editing, and I was like, wait a minute. When I first started doing the Unique Learning System, I didn't know any better. And so all I printed was full size level B, full size level C, full size AA, and the matching paper, plus the vocabulary words, and then also the words that would go on the word wall, so like the irregular heart words. And that was it, which is like nothing compared to what I print now. And I knew that because my first couple times that I was printing it, I had no idea what I needed. And it wasn't until I started working with the students and the stuff started showing up in the digital platform that I realized they can't do it digitally. I need to start printing it so they can use physical manipulatives and have physical books and physical objects. So today we are printing and getting everything ready to go up on our Unique Learning System wall. I'm not going to laminate it or do any of the velcro materials, however, because my paras love doing that. And on Monday is our first actual day of contract of 2025-2026 school year. And we start the morning at the high school, listen to a bunch of motivational speakers and data and blah 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 blah, and then in the afternoon we get to come here. So in the afternoon my paras can work on that. So let's sign into this smartboard, shall we? This is what it looks like when you log in. You can see I have access to the Unique Learning System, News to You, Symbol Sticks, and L3 Skills, all things that I had last year. I'm gonna go here to Unique Learning System. I'm gonna go home. Okay, so I have assigned things to my students, so I can now go and print things out. I do wanna make note to people, I'm on Unit 21. Right here. We all work together. If you go right here to the suggested unit pacing, this will bring up everything that they suggest that you do. So if it's your first year teaching and you don't know what to do, this is a good place to start. Also, if you have admin that are requiring lesson plans, here's your literacy block already planned out for you. All you have to do is assign the lessons that day and do the activities, whether it be assigning it on the digital platform or doing it in person. Again, me personally, I don't have time to plan a day at a time when I come in or like before I'm leaving. I already know what I want to do, so I don't need to be planning a day at a time. I just like the whole month there and available. I like to go down here to leveled PDFs. That's where I print everything. Now I already have the books printed out. They're just not in the 2 pages per sheet that I prefer. But because they're right there and they already have the binding on them, I'm not gonna bother unless I run out of space in my little sleeve right here. But you'll see I've got the AA, I've got the C, which is the adapted. I don't have the level E easy reader, and I don't have whatever the lesson 16, I think it is, the informational text. As I've said in previous videos, that's usually a book that you need to get from your library or watch on YouTube. So let's see. I have these 3 right here. I need this one. And if I can remember, I try to do open in a new tab, just so I don't have to be going back to this screen. I can just close the tab when I'm done printing it. So I need to print pages 1 through 13. And my printers aren't set up. Please hold. Something important to note is, say you already have all this printed out and someone eats their spelling list, no problem. You can click this right here and it'll bring you to it. So I do that if I need something, I've lost something. I always pick the level 2 activities because then you can have errorless text. So if we just go down, let's see. I don't print this, I don't print this. This I print in black and white. So when I'm making this, I just make a column for color, I make a column for black and white, and then I'll note the page number, and then I'll do ×2 because I have 2 students. Let me hop in here to say, I mean that I have 2 students that are using the Unique Learning System. I don't just have 2 students. I have 2 students that have alternative standards, and I have like 11, 12 others that are just in and out, like typical push in, pull out, resource style. And then this, I like to do with Velcro. So I'm gonna do page 5, page 6, but only one of those because this will be a Velcro activity, but it's black. And then here's the answers for it. So that has to be in color. Don't do this, don't do this. Here's another one. What should we do? Times 2, because 2 kids. We're gonna want this one, and this one, and this one. Don't need this. You could print these if you wanted to. I have little poppers that I could put on top of these. You could print these full pages if you want. You could print them half pages. This one's kind of nice to do it on the smart board because you can hear the popping noises and you can hear the w, e, we, and then they can go w, e, and it, you know, you touch the popper and it pops. So you could print that, but I'm gonna leave it digital for now. And then here it'll say we, and then each one of these will say we, and they have to pick the right one. So then here they're spelling it, and by that I mean they're typing, so W and E. And then here you could print this out, and they could write we sat, we pat, we pat mats. So for me, I'm gonna print this out in black and white, and I'll have the students use letter tiles for that. And by letter tiles, I mean like these from Foundations, which was our core phonics curriculum. Now it's just going to be used as an intervention. We're using functional phonics, which also recommends use of tiles like these. So foundation stuff is sticking around. Another thing to note is sometimes it says right using the word to, and when you're looking at this, you know, days, weeks after you've printed it, you can't for the life of you figure out what goes there. So I do recommend writing somewhere on the paper, you know, word to is actually want. Just put it somewhere. We want maps, we want caps, because that's what it is. And then I did want to show you that it does offer different levels of support. So like you can write it, you can use different manipulatives or blocks, and it also does come with all of these that you would need to spell the word. So if you wanted to, you could make a Velcro task out of it, or you could have a student do cutting and gluing. So it just depends on what you want to do. You've got all the time in the world. And then here's our spelling lists. If I have students that I know will take it home and work on them, I'll print them out and I'll split it down the middle and I'll give the students either the word form or the words and the pictures. Just depends on the year. This year, I know that we're not going to be in the spelling realm of being able to actually memorize the word and write it. We're still getting familiar with our letters, but I will print the tracing version of this and I'll do back to back because I do have some years where I do have students that can do the word we tracer and then they turn it over and then I say we and they write we. So this year I don't have students, but just to be prepared for other years, I'm gonna color copy and laminate that. It goes in a sleep protector so that then I'm just erasing the sleep protector and not the laminating, because then it's a little easier. So then eventually you get down to page 544 and you're done. And then this is everything that I need to print. These down here I might have, it's just a matter of finding, and that's a Monday problem, not a today problem. So I'm gonna send this all to the printer. And then my #1 failure last year, lesson 16, the informational book. When I print out the materials, I make myself sit down and look at it because I know that when lesson 16 comes around, I will not be prepared. So lesson 16, let's just do PDF. Trade book right here. Let's vote on it. Will my library have it? Probably not. Is it on Amazon? Yeah. A book written in 2009. Maybe it's time to update it. But I need it. I'll get it. At least it's cheap. I might even buy one of these used ones and take a chance on it. So now here we've got our color copies, we've got the black and white copies, and there's plenty of things that we need to do still before we laminate. Like that right there won't be laminated. What is wrong with the copy machine? This is a student copy, so they'll work right on it and just take it home. The match game are in here somewhere, non-standard measurement, the students will do that on paper. So there's plenty of things that we have to put together before we laminate it. And so I'm gonna go home, and I also have a library book that I need to drop off because it's overdue. Oops. I'll pick this up on Monday.
Girl, you got me down so bad. I can't say enough. She pull up that
So then here's our laminating pile. It's all the new learning system, except this is leftover from the summer writing unit from something else that I didn't get to, but it was still in my laminating stack. And now that I think of it, there's probably something in here too. Yes. That's not a problem right now though. I would suggest this for the match game. Make sure you cut out the actual cards, stick it on a dark color, and then now when I cut it, I'll make sure to cut it not close to the edge, because otherwise if it's too close, it peels off. But if you do the entire page and then you just stick it on the purple and then you laminate and then try to cut, it just peels off and it's a disaster. And now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do the spelling word. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna write the word that the student will be writing just on the back corner right there. I missed the laminating pile because somebody already had the laminator on. So sometime this week, this will go back through. It is Wednesday, August 27th. Tomorrow is Meet the Teacher, and we are ready to put things up on our unique learning system board so it looks prepared for tomorrow. Not only is it functional, but it's kind of like a decor piece too. In a perfect world, the top of this shelving is empty. In this case, there's just a computer sitting there. So let's fill this up, and keep in mind this is the very first unit I did. So like these are full size. Now when I do it, they're half size and they fit here better. So it's not gonna fit perfectly this time, but I'm not gonna throw them away until someone destroys the binding. I really wanted to buy a microphone for this camera so that you could actually hear me. This camera's so old it doesn't have a spot for you to plug in a microphone. So hopefully this is loud enough. So first we've got our books. This is the level D or E, so it's always the full size. These clothespins are hot glued onto a thumbtack, and I just broke this one. I have more, not a problem. I actually bought these on Amazon, but I'm sure if you had small clothespins, you could make it yourself. So then I like to do the level E, and then I also like to put the adaptive version down here because those are the two full-size ones. This needs to get moved over. And the kids aren't getting any of these materials down. It's all adults, generally me. So I don't have to worry about anyone being careless with stabbing themselves with a staple or something to do this. And it's a simple matter of just hot gluing them back on, but I think because it's so humid that the hot glue is not faring very well. Okay, but seriously. Then this would look better because they'd only be half the size. For now, this will work. One of my lovely paras cut the laminating stack. It's not all put together. We can still finish it tomorrow. Meet the Teacher is from like 3 to 7, so we have the entire morning to finish our velcroing. Just put my spelling papers in here, but then when the students are actually using them, they go on a sleeve protector, so then I don't have to erase them so much. I'm just gonna divide these into piles real quick. Okay, we've got our match game cards. This is just a little cheap pencil bag I've had sitting around forever. None of the directions are underneath it if a kid doesn't know how to play or a parent doesn't know how to play. Here's the directions for the craft, and then here's the colored copy that the students need for the eyes or the wings, or you could make tracers out of it too. The recipe for this month is they're making strawberry jam, but then the experiment is that they're making butter to go with their strawberry jam. I actually put the recipe over with my News to You things right here because then it's next to the other recipe. So then for the News to You, I'll have craft, the science experiment, and then the recipe. So then there's 2 recipes here, but this recipe is only done once a month because everything with Unique Learning System is about a month. Then the strawberry jam experiment goes here. Here's the spatial directions. As I've said before, the directions are on one page, and the space that the students actually move the cracker under the chair, the toy on the desk, is on a different page in the software. It's really confusing, so I always print out the directions. And so this is an example of what the screen would look like for a student doing the spatial lesson 24. They get the picture. Here's the directions. Put the sugar cookie on the desk, and then they have to click back. Put the sugar cookie on the desk. Put the timer under the chair. Put the timer under the chair. Like, that is so hard for the students to remember. They have to listen to me, and then they have to click back, and then they have to put it where it belongs. When I would much rather just print the directions and read the directions to them while they're completing the task. So that's what I do. So then for non-standard measurement, when I first started, I didn't realize that I needed to print out the bread slices so that I could measure how many bread slices long do you think the window is? How many jars of jam long do you think a desk is? So now I always print the manipulatives and I just put them in with my standard measurement. So I have 1 copy per student. This one is lesson 2 and this one is lesson 4. And so that's why, if you notice, I'll give you a close-up view when I'm done. I have the lesson number in parentheses, so then when I'm putting things away, I remember which assignment goes where. And these go with the experiment, and I didn't put it in. And I have a stool, or I could stand on a chair, I just choose not to. So then normally, my vocabulary is just right there. I didn't put this away from the summer months. It was just sitting in there. So this is what the vocabulary words would look like. They're all on Velcro, so we can mix and match. So all the vocabulary words go in here, as well as any of the new synonyms, antonyms, whatever they want us to learn for the month, that goes in here too. So if I had those, I'd put it here, and then I binder clip it, and I put it up. And those are the ones that I need to find. So let's do that. Okay, so I had class, help, listen, teacher, and work. I need vote, together, share, and group. And I had actually already printed the pictures because I was pretty sure I needed some of them, but I didn't print the black. So I'll go back and do that tomorrow so that these can go through the laminating pile. These would then go in here. And then this is just in the big old file folder, and I clip it. And in a perfect world, we go through these every day. In a perfect world. It doesn't happen. So then it stays like that. So then all we have left are the materials that go with the fiction book, which is in here, the informational book, which is in here, and then that informational book is the one that I need to buy off of Amazon as well, the $9 one from 2009, I think I said. And then these ones as well need some things. This, what is the meaning of the word, will go in with this vocabulary sort once I have it put in Velcroed. So then the only thing we have left to do is find the sentence structures, which is the make the sentences true. And as I've said before, every time the unit comes around, I'm going to pull this out and look through it and hope that I can find the ones that I need. Yay me. One of my lovely paras finished all the laminating. So now we can put it up. This video is already long. I'm going to put it up. There's a table here. I'm going to put it up and then I'll show you the end. Okay. So here is the finished product. An entire month's worth of work. I do have a chair here that I can stand on now. So up here on the top we have everything for the experiment. So I print out the directions. I print out and use Velcro so that we can put the steps in order. If you have a lot of students, you could hand out the paper so that they know, like, it is my job to put the bowl in the microwave. And another kid knows that if this is in their hand, they have 5 minutes to do it. And I've done it that way if I've had larger groups. And then I've got the black and white papers for us to have our scientific discussion and find the conclusion to our experiment. And then right here we have the non-standard measurement. So everything for this I print out black and white except for our little icons that we use to measure. Down here we have the fiction book, which in this case is about us doing the process to make the jam, which then also coincides with the recipe, which is making the sandwich bread. So there's a lot of jam, jelly, whatever you would call it, butter, and bread happening this month. Vocabulary sorts, so then I've got people, I've got actions. If you wanted to, you could print it out black and white and the students could do it themselves. I just prefer doing Velcro so that we can do it more than once. Then this is our informational book, lesson 16. This is the book also that I bought off of Amazon that's not here yet. So this one comes in 3 different versions. Again, I have 2 students that'll do this. So I have 2 copies. We'll talk about the author's purpose. And then because I'm going to choose level 1 activities, it's got the answers right here. It's got the pictures. They don't have to do any of the writing. We're just discussing and finding the correct answers and putting in our paper. And then also we can vote for, I know they're gonna pick class pet. There will not be a class pet happening, kids, sorry. Lesson 21, spatial directions. Lesson 13, sentence structures. So everything is laminated so they can move the pieces around. And then we also talk about Where are the spaces? Where's the capital letters? What kind of punctuation is at the end of our sentence? Here's our vocabulary. Perfect world every single day. So these are all our vocabulary words. If you're starting on a special education, figure out how you're going to do your Velcro process. That way, everything in my classroom, the soft piece of the Velcro always stays on the item, and then the rough piece roams. That way, anything that I have stuck in here, all my Velcro pieces can just stick on there, and that way I can record my voice. I can just make this into a speech device. Any of my icons and any of my curriculums, they're all the same, so that I can always stick them on and I don't have to worry about having the wrong part of the Velcro on my items. So most of the time, these are going on my little recording device I just showed you. We can play a match game with them. Fun things. We're talking about synonyms and antonyms this month, so I have this paper. And then here's our options. So take, what's the opposite? Either give or throw. And then we're also talking about prefixes and suffix. So here we have prefixes and suffix papers. What does the new word mean? Does it mean do again, without, play, or never do? And there's plenty of different options. I prefer to have the picture so my students can look and see what does the word mean and then what does the picture look like. And then, what is the meaning of the word listen? What is the meaning of the word class? What is the meaning of the word work? I don't know how they pick these. There's usually 3 like this, but they're in every unit. Here we have the shapes. I've said this before. I have a student that has like one-to-one matching with shapes. Correspondence, Velcro tasks are in his IEP. So this one in particular is just for him. So you might not have this. You might have something else. Our pattern book, which is what should we do? So this, what should we do, goes with this book. Read and comprehend, we work together. That goes with the 3 leveled books. So that's all right here, all the materials that you need. So like this one I still have to work on a little bit because it wants examples from our classroom, and I figured, well, if I'm going to do examples from our classroom, I probably should wait till the kids are here. And then here's our spelling. So I've said this before, laminated, but I'll put it in a sleeve protector so it's easier to erase. So then it's tracer, can spell it if we're at that level. And then here's where you can write using the word, or in my case, we'll use letter tiles. And as I said, the word's on the back, because that would have taken me a long time to go each cat, each mat, we want each map. That would not have happened without me looking at what it wanted. And then read and comprehend. So what should we do? That goes with this. Lesson 4. Lesson 4. Pattern book is lesson 14, but it still goes with this. That's why the headers are up here. It helps me, 1, match what I'm doing, because it'll always say the unit and then the lesson, but then it can also help me match which book I'm working with here, because there's informational book, the 3 leveled books, this book, and that's the unique learning system. Woo! So that's Unit 21 of the Unique Learning System. If you have any other questions or anything you want me to cover with the Unique Learning System, just leave a comment down below and I'll try to make a video of it for you, because I really enjoy just talking and chatting on YouTube. I'm a chatty Kathy. What can I say? Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.